Did you record?
No, not yet.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, welcome to Target Podcast. I am Sahi. That is Nicholas. We got a lot going on today. It's been a hell of a week.
It's been a crazy month.
Crazy week. But some news this week. George Floyd, right? Or rather, Derek Chauvin, right? So the Derek Chauvin trial that's happened. He is found guilty on all accounts. And I know I definitely sighed a huge relief when I heard that happen. And I mean, I don't want to go dancing on the guy's grave, but I mean, I definitely understand if people feel the need.
He's not dead. You can't go dancing on his grave. He's not dead.
That's true. That's true. So now there's a trial yet, but I know I have like a bunch of feelings about this. So like, what are your thoughts, Nicholas?
Well, I mean, I think that I definitely agree with him getting all the charges after reading them and everything. Definitely agree with that. Happy with the outcome. But my initial reaction was like, a celebratory one, right? But then once I got over that, then you just think about like the bigger picture, right? So yes, I'm glad that George Floyd's family got some measure of justice and probably some relief, but at the same time, like I'm just hoping that this becomes the standard, right? Where we're holding police officers more accountable, and hopefully it turns into some sort of legislation or something, police reform wise, moving forward. So
so it's interesting when you talk about accountability and that becoming the standard. So interesting stat by the Gravely Institute. So Derek Chauvin is only the 6th police officer who's been convicted of murdering someone while on duty in the last 15 years. Only 6, right?
We know there's been so many more. So.
Yeah. So and it goes on to say there are thousands of Derek Chauvins out there still working as cops, right? I share the same sentiment as you do, where there's a bit of an elation, and then like reality like set in and saying, well, okay, look, we need to prevent this from happening, right? I don't know if you caught what Nancy Pelosi said.
What did she say?
Oh God, I'll just show you the video, but she's clearly out of touch. But I mean, based off of like what she said, it's like the #1 search tool on YouTube too. So yeah, I will play it in a second, but like we definitely need reform, right? That's for sure, right? This is great that this has happened, and it shows accountability. It's not justice, it's accountability, right? And we need more of this, right? During the trial, 64 people have been killed by police during this like 3-week trial, right? 64 people have been killed by police, most of them people of color, African Americans, right? So we need changes
big time
the way we police, right? There was another one on the death of George Floyd. I haven't watched the video, but what was her full name? Malika.
I think her name was Micaiah.
I'm not ready to talk about that yet. I haven't seen the video. I'm struggling to want to watch the video. It just seems like it's just a totally bad situation. I know you had a very lively conversation with Omar about this.
Definitely had a spirited debate.
I didn't have a chance to like look into what you guys were saying, but maybe at another time next week I'll be able to talk about that. But just so many emotions. It just think about what it took for this to happen, right? It essentially took a pandemic, right? Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, both were
protests.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, both on the heels of that, right? It took a teenager filming 9 minutes of
Yes.
it, right? Like if that woman, if she didn't like that was the tape, that was essentially what did him in, right? If it
Yeah.
wasn't 9 minutes, it wasn't as graphic of him calling his mama saying I can't breathe, and just him
Yeah.
dying there. Um,
Well, what's crazy to me is that I didn't follow the trial like day to day because just too emotional for me to
yeah,
watch. But the defense for Derek Chauvin was basically trying to say that George Floyd would have died or could have because he had like
a heart condition.
alleged drug issues and heart condition and some
Yeah,
other things, like he died from that. And my thing is like, how can you even put that out there when the video clearly shows that he was, strangled to death, or
it. I
lack of a
remember
better way
they
to put
tried
it,
to
right?
do this
It
with
doesn't matter, but it doesn't matter like it doesn't matter what your condition is.
yeah.
If I cut off the oxygen, then you're gonna die. It doesn't
I
matter what
mean,
the,
yeah. You put your knee on someone's neck for 9 minutes, and they die, and they're like, "Oh, it's because of the heart condition." Like, really? Like, I mean, it's interesting because people it just tells you people will convince themselves of anything. Even before the trial, people were trying to play that card. It's like, oh, there's something in his mouth, or maybe he died of a heart condition. They did everything they could to try to downplay this, and it's just sad and unfortunate. Even the coroner said so. I wasn't watching it day to day, but I did keep up a little bit with it. The coroner said no, he died of asphyxiation.
right?
The I think the police chief actually testified against him, against Derek Chauvin,
Yeah, that's why
saying
we're talking about the cracks in the blue wall.
yeah.
Yeah,
So he testified against Derek Chauvin, saying that that's not our training. And so there's just so much stuff like against this person. Um, like the Minneapolis, the police department is, is weird. And well, I mean, let me take that back. It has definitely been reported that they've been pretty just bad with what they do. Considering
yeah,
like during the trial, they shot another kid. Well, that was in Minneapolis, but it was around that area. Um, they shot a kid for like expired tags.
yeah.
Uh, so yeah, it's frustrating and annoying
It's
and
just so many incidents, and this is my thing. And I feel like after this, I'll probably be ready to move on. But it's just what when you see the interactions with the cops with minorities, it's just that jump to lethal force or to unnecessary force is so
yeah,
immediate. And then when you see or hear or read about other incidents with other people, there's always a level of, hey, we're going to try to calm the situation, or we're going to try to use any means necessary to calm this person down. Like I saw a video where there was a guy who like assaulted a cop, stole a squad car,
yeah, yeah.
and
Because he wouldn't wear a mask, right? So they had the
yeah,
police, a bunch of people with us with assault guns, like assaulted him, like ran off. So he ran off in his car with the cop still attached to the car. Like the cop was like hanging on.
yeah, I saw the
Um,
video. So
no one
not
shot at
one
the tires
shot,
or anything.
no gas, no pepper spray, no
Yeah,
tase, no nothing. And it's like, and then you have some of these kids who, granted, like, should you be trying to run away? Like, probably not, right? But
yeah,
why the excessive force, right?
yeah.
It's not necessary.
Yeah,
So
why is this happening more to black people than, you know, people who aren't black?
yeah,
Or why is this happening to people of color? And that's the thing that they don't want to admit or
talk about.
talk about, right? So let me quickly play Nancy Pelosi. I just pulled up like the first video um of this. I don't know exactly where this is. Oh God, here it is. Okay, let me just I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna share the can you hear?
Nope.
Well, hold on, I'm not playing it. Let me share my screen. All right. So let's talk. Let's listen to her. Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice. Because of you, and because of
Oh my God.
thousands, millions of people around the world who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous
with justice. Unless we can change the law, this will be an episode. If we change the law, we're going down a different path altogether.
All right. So yeah, that's just a little bit of the of what was said.
Yeah. So I mean,
said,
obviously, like not the words to use, right? But this is my thing, right? So I mean, her heart was in the right place. Okay. I feel like sometimes, like at least for me, sometimes, like when I'm speaking in public, or even when I'm on this podcast or whatever, like I definitely don't word things the way that I would if it was just a conversation with one or two other people, right? You get a little nervous or whatever. So
that's fair. That's fair. However, she's a public politician who's been in politics for
I mean,
years.
you can't take it away. I'm
That is the Speaker of the House. That is the third most powerful person in the United States, right? So,
I hear you. I
so,
mean, definitely not what you want to say.
I'm not willing to cancel her. No.
Oh God, no, I'm
not gonna cancel her. I'm not gonna cancel her. I will say that this just comes from just something that's out of touch, right? just a little bit out of touch, right? Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing yourself for justice. That's what? Um, it's it's worth saying. I mean, look, I do want to say I do appreciate Nancy Pelosi for like all she's done, like as a public.
Yes, yes.
I will definitely give her kudos. I mean, she was one of the people that's standing up to the Orange Giant like 4 years when she became speaker again. She was the one standing straight up to him, telling him no about telling him where to shove his stupid wall, right? So definitely.
So glad we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah. So definitely props to her. I'm not going to cancel her for that, but I expect better. I mean, I have to point it out. So, but yeah, I mean, next now is the sentencing. So I have no idea what's going to happen. They say he has up to 40 years. Derek Chauvin's also been moved to like a segregated like holding area for his safety. So
he wasn't going to make it otherwise.
Yeah.
Well, let's just be honest. So,
yeah. So, yeah, that's just a lot to take in. Yeah. What else you have any other else? I think I'm happy just waiting to see what's next. We need to start talking about reform and what can we do to prevent this from happening to other people, right? And we need bold politicians and bold people making bold steps because there's going to be resistance every step of the way. Every step of the way there's going to be resistance. So it's definitely going to be bold. We definitely need some bold people, some bold individuals. Okay, so
hold on. So before we move on, right? Because I did have something slightly related.
Yeah.
But it was a little more positive. So, with everything that's going on, right? As people of color, like we still have to think about how to interact with law enforcement when we get pulled over for a traffic stop, right? That's still something that's first and foremost on our minds when we're out here in these streets. So I found a story in Black Enterprise about a young man who has invented something to help people who get pulled over, and he's actually working with law enforcement in his area on how to interact with people who have this device, right? So his name is David Price. He's 19, and the name of the device is the safety pouch, right? So basically what it is just a little simple pouch or whatever, but you can like hang it on your window and you can have all of your necessary papers and stuff in there, your driver's license, your registration, whatever the officer asks you for. And that way, there's no suspicious, there's nothing suspicious about your actions, or the cop doesn't think that you're looking for a weapon or something, when they come up and you reach for the stuff that he asked you for or whatever, you kind of get that out of the way. So I just think that's a really dope story. And he was talking about it in Black Enterprise magazine. It came from like a project in one of these business classes, and he just ended up just running with it. So I hope he hits it. I hope it hits big. I hope that people invest in it, and I'm happy to hear about stuff like that. Like instead of all just like the bad stuff or like, hey, we got to change the cops, do this, do that. Now like here's somebody just kind of thinking out of the box, like, hey, like what could I do to help people, when they get in these situations? Like here's a little something, like, and it's a simple idea, right? But it's just about having your stuff already prepared for the officer when he stops you. And he said that it came from some conversations that he had with his parents about dealing with the police when you get pulled over. Yeah. So shout out to David Price, man.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Some positive stuff.
Yeah.
Positive news.
Need it.
Yeah, definitely need it in these times. So I don't know if you have anything else to talk about with George Floyd. I think
yeah, I'm good, man.
It's a tough one. I'm happy for it. I'm anxious to see the next steps that we need to take to prevent this from happening. That's the key, right? Like one guilty verdict doesn't mean a whole lot. I mean, it gives some closure to the George Floyd's family, but we have to prevent this from happening, and we need bold. It's going to take some bold action to prevent this from happening.
Yep.
So hopefully we're moving in the right direction. All right. So did you want to do like a moment of silence for?
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, definitely want to do a moment of silence. This is probably something we should have done like a while ago, but just want to take like 10 seconds out, do a moment of silence for everyone who has, passed away in the last, well, at least in the last year, if not more, due to all these unfortunate incidents. So, moment of silence.
All righty.
All right.
Cool.
Cool, man.
Alrighty. So, with Omar not here, so as you guys know, we're missing a member of our team. We're supposed to talk about monsters today.
He's almost like a special guest on his own podcast, right?
He kind of is. We kind of just drag him along. Just like, do you want to join? You want to talk? Yeah, we'll give you some time. We're supposed to talk Godzilla versus Kong. I still haven't watched it yet at that time.
Shame on you, man.
Whatever. We'll talk about it when we get a chance to. I bet he still hasn't watched Wonder Woman.
No, probably not. But you know what's funny? You know how we did the trailer walkthrough, right?
Yeah.
And I was like joking about the movie, and I said, "Hey, Saheed, this is what's gonna happen."
It happened.
That's what happened.
Exactly what happened. Shocking.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, no, I mean
almost not quite exactly, but very, very close. Very close.
They pulled like a Jurassic World on us, where the two other dinosaurs got together to like fight against the third one, and then they agreed to go their separate ways. It's the same thing.
I'll tell you this: the fight scenes were very entertaining, though.
Okay.
Very entertaining.
All right.
There were some parts where I was like, "Ooh," and then other parts I was just laughing. I was like, "Yo, this is hilarious."
All right. So since we're sorry, Omar, we had to talk about the monster. We talked a little bit about the monsters. Can we just count as this was talking about the monsters? Is this it? Does this count? We have to talk about it next time? I hope not.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's his thing, man. He wants to talk about Hollow Earth. So hopefully he's happy about how it was represented in the movie.
Yeah, I guess he expected more from the monster movie.
Not sure.
Yeah. All right, no, but let's talk about like one of my favorite shows. If you think we're done talking about race, we're not done yet, because we're going to talk Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Episode 5 was big, man. Episode 5 was major.
This has turned into like one of my favorite shows, right? Nothing against like WandaVision, but this is by far one of my favorite shows I've watched. And this is kind of what I come to expect from comic book movies, right? Where you
Yeah.
have this very in-depth like character development, and it's it's just truly amazing. It hits on so many points. It hits me at a lot of points. With Sam, Sam or Anthony Mackie, the character who plays Falcon. So he's actually from Louisiana. He's from New Orleans,
Mhm.
Louisiana, and a big part of that show takes place in New Orleans, Louisiana, and we'll get to that later. But pretty much kind of what he's feeling and how he's going and some of the things that's been said during that show, it really kind of touched home for me.
Mhm.
I know a lot. It's so funny because a lot of other people, like after the show came out, hit me up and was like, "Yeah, that was an amazing show," and this and this and this and this and this. And I was like, "Yeah, it's
Yep.
awesome. Like this is turning into one of my favorite shows." So I thought what we can do is we could just kind of go like kind of what we did last time, play by play. I
But
kind of
let's
took my
go.
notes, right? And like definitely feel free to jump in. So episode starts off with John Walker running away from like the scene of the crime, right? After he like
Yep.
killed the guy. And he gets confronted by Sam and Bucky, right? So Sam and Bucky pretty much trying to talk to him, trying to talk him down. It's like, hey, you know, you don't want to go down that road, whatever. And it comes quickly apparent, like, hey, like they want the shield. And he goes, yeah, you don't want to do this. And like Bucky's like, yeah, we do.
Yep. Yes,
Right?
we do. We do
Bucky's
want
been
to
wanting to
do
do that since episode 1.
that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This guy. Um,
That was a good fight scene, man. That
yeah,
was an epic fight
it was
scene.
another really good fight scene.
And
That
again, we are going to do an episode where we talk about the top fight scenes in the MCU. This is definitely one of them right
yeah, I kind of want to branch that
here.
out from like just MCU to other fight scenes, but I think that'd probably be too much. But MCU, sure.
I mean, we can do that, but I think what we should do is do MCU side, yes, DC side.
Fine, sure.
Who had the best? Who had the best for?
I will say this: as much as I hated DC movies, some of the fight scenes have been really good,
Oh yeah,
really good.
oh yeah.
I didn't care for Aquaman, but like the fight scene with like him versus Black Manta,
Ocean Master. Oh, Black Manta. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that single shot of like them like zooming out and like the whole thing like that. That's awesome. So that was just a great scene. But yeah, I mean we'll talk it out. So yeah, notice that John Walker tries to kill him a few times too, right?
Again,
Yeah,
right?
he tries to go for the kill shots in when he's
He is
trying to kill Bucky, trying to kill Sam, right?
right.
And that's
And I like how like some of the shots. So if you look at like between Civil War and this, right, the shots where he's holding the shield and about to do it is I feel like it's like a direct callback to Civil War when Cap stopped himself from doing the same thing to Iron Man.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. That's a great point. So yeah, Sam, he actually rips off like Sam's wings, which is actually
Woo.
Yeah, he rips off his wings, which has happened before, by the way. Bucky actually was the guy that ripped off Sam's wings in Winter Soldier. But I'm gonna get back to the wings in a second. I'm actually gonna get back to it now. So after they beat him, break his arm. So Sam is joined by Joaquin Torres, right? And like government sets in because John Walker was like videotaped like killing someone mercilessly, and like Sam's literally dejected. He goes back home, but he leaves his wings with Joaquin Torres. Now, Joaquin Torres, I'm sure you already know, is someone who plays Falcon in like, the comics, right? So I think this is, and if you realize too, at the beginning of the episode or at the beginning of the series, Joaquin was trying to help Sam like fix Red Wing or whatever, and Sam was like, "No, when the Air Force guys touch it's like it gets all twitchy." So I'm assuming like Joaquin's gonna fix up that
thing,
and it's gonna be nice. So
I really think that they are building up to some sort of Young Avengers type deal. Yes. So he could be the Falcon piece in that. Because like we said before, right? You have him, you have what's her name? Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
You have Hawkeye's daughter. You have Isaiah Bradley's grandson? His grandson?
Yeah, I think it's his nephew. I think I'm not entirely sure, but his name is Eli Bradley. He might be his
Yeah, you
so
have him. So I think the pieces are there.
yeah.
So
I'm actually going to get back to that a little bit later. So yeah, but you touched on a lot of those points. So all right, so Sam brings gives his like just leaves his wings with Joaquin, so I'm sure Joaquin's gonna build that up together, and in another mini series that which they haven't released yet, will become like Falcon, with Sam actually promoting himself to Captain America. Um,
promoting himself.
like,
Really?
he's like Sam's like, I'm the captain now. I got the shield. I'm
No,
the captain now.
he was already promoted. He just didn't want it. Now he's realizing he needs to take it.
This is fair enough. Yeah. So John Walker, he stands trial, right? And he's kind of like yelling at the senator that gave him the shield and like whatever panel that is.
You
Um,
built me.
yeah, you
I
built me.
like that. I like that one.
You built me. And I felt like his anger and sentiment against that group there is similar to Sharon Carter's, right? So if you remember earlier in the series, right, she was telling Sam, all the flags and everything, it's all BS, right? It's all bullshit,
True.
right? And
True.
and that sentiment also plays well later in the episode as well with Isaiah Bradley. But yeah, he gets super angry and they dismiss him for like what he's done or whatever, and he's just super upset. And we get some so someone comes in. Her name is Valentina Allegra de Fuentes. That's Louise Dreyfus. So she was famous for Veep and was in Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Um, so she says call her Val, but don't call her Val. But she's introduced as like another secret like hand in play there. And
Contessa. So what's her name? Like Contessa something something. I
it's
like the way she
Valentine
introduced herself.
Allegra de
There you
Forte.
go.
So that's her. So she's an actual character, right? Kind of like a minor character. She worked for Shield, right? She
Yep.
worked for Hydra, but as like a double agent, I believe.
She was like a triple agent.
Yeah,
Like a
so I
triple
don't
agent.
know exactly if she's probably a good guy, but like someone that operates. So I was looking at the Wikipedia before the show. They said that she operates in like the gray area, so holds a lot of
Yep.
secrets. So it's very possible that she could be working with maybe Thaddeus Thunderbolt, right? So remember, I forgot the part where, actually didn't get to that part yet, but Zemo is getting transported to the raft, right? And
Yep.
like Thunderbolt Ross is there, so and they think that possibly, so Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross is like in charge of the raft. Last time we saw, right?
Yep.
It has been suggested that he can possibly start this anti-Avengers type team with Zemo there and
Yeah, I think in the comics it was like the Dark Avengers or something like
Dark
that.
Avengers or something like that. So that could be its own miniseries. So I think that's pretty cool with Allegra de Fontaine kind of working with him or him working for her. She'll probably be working for him.
Well, hold on. So I think you skipped this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this where so the Wakandans came back to get Zemo in this episode?
Yes, they did. I was actually going to get to that next. So,
okay.
Okay. Yeah. So Bucky returned. So they go to Sokovia, right? So they go to the memorial of Sokovia. Bucky finds him. Interesting seeing where Bucky holds a gun to his head. He thinks he's going to shoot him. Eventually, he doesn't shoot him. So Bucky, he was on the list of like people like of Bucky's done wrong, which I don't know why he used Bucky, but returned him to like the Dora, which is a good idea. And then Bucky, she tells him like don't like come to Wakanda for a little bit. You might as well stay away for a little bit, and which is fair. And but he also has another favor for her. I mean, he lets Zemo go and he can still ask for favors, which is awesome.
Gotta try, right? Gotta
I
try.
mean, well, it worked, right? Because they essentially gave him Sam's suit, right? That
Yeah.
hasn't been released yet. So we'll get to
Yeah.
that later. But after after Zemo goes back to like the raft, and this is where the whole Thunderbolts thing happens. Like I think might happen another miniseries involving Zemo um and John Walker and all that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. So fast forward, Sam's back in the States. He's talking to Isaiah Bradley, and
Hmm.
pretty much all the things that we thought were gonna happen or that we kind of were clued in on, they like doubled down on. So
Yeah.
with Isaiah Bradley saying that he was tested on with the serum and whatnot, um, like we thought of immediately the Tuskegee
Tuskegee Airmen. Yeah.
experiment, and the Tuskegee was actually mentioned, right? So he talked about like
Yes.
and Tuskegee was there. Um, like he one of the things that I liked about his sentiment is that he saw that shield and he kind of represents like the negative side of like what those flags mean. So
Right.
to what Sharon Carter said, it was like, it's all BS, right? Well, he knows that because he fought for the flag, right? It's something that you actually thought about. We talked about with you earlier with relatives like fighting for like our freedoms during the World War and still coming back home and being segregated against, and
You're nothing.
so he
Yeah.
he definitely feels some resentment toward that.
And rightfully so, right?
Oh,
I mean,
obviously.
they locked him away for like 30 years, told his wife that he was dead,
Yep.
didn't let him get any mail or anything like that, and just
Yep.
continued to experiment on him.
Yep.
So his story, I mean, that really like just tugged at the heartstrings, man. Like,
Yeah.
and he was telling Sam, he was like, first he was like, no black man can be Captain America, and he was like, you're a fool if you want to be,
Yeah.
or if you think you can be. And it was just like, he's not wrong,
No.
right? Because
He's talking from experience.
He's well, yeah, he's speaking from experience, and you think about everything that's going on, like this country isn't going to accept you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it kind of goes back to, well, I'm kind of skipping forward a little bit, but it's relevant to the conversation because when they're standing in front of Sam's house and he's talking with Bucky and they're having like a little therapeutic moment that shows why Sam would be a good leader for the next generation of Avengers, but B serves to show that Bucky and Steve, they weren't thinking about what it would mean for a black man to be Captain America.
Yeah, he says that. He says like we didn't for a black man, right?
Yeah. And Bucky was kind of just like, I'm sorry that we, I was putting all that pressure on you like that, because now after hearing about Isaiah Bradley and all that stuff, it's like, now I kind of get it.
Yeah.
So that was just amazing how they put that together. I was amazing how they had that conversation at the end.
We'll definitely touch base on that again. So one of my favorite things about the Isaiah Bradley like discussion was this similarities between him and Steve Rogers. So Isaiah Bradley, he heard the higher ups say they're going to like blast the POW camp. So the POW camp, which held other people that they experimented on, which they said was tetanus, right? But it was actually the serum. So he thought that they were going to blast these other. He heard that they're going to blast these other people to smithereens, and he was like, "No, I'm going to bring my boys. So I'm going to bring those."
Yeah, he did the same thing Steve did.
Exactly the same thing. Different reaction though.
He got in trouble for it.
Yeah, different reaction though, right? So definitely some very similar cases between the two, and it's rightfully so why he has a sense of resentment, right? Like the only way he escaped was like a nurse took pity and said that he was dead to let him like go.
Amazing job by the actor too. I forget his name. I think he did an amazing job on that.
Yeah. So we talked about Eli Bradley. So Eli Bradley, Patriot, we think maybe when he comes like part of the Young Avengers. Maybe. So you talk about a leader, Sam being a leader for like the next
Like Avengers 5. Like that.
yeah. Well, you talk about Sam being a leader for the next generation of just people, African Americans alike, right? So maybe Eli Bradley sees this and gets inspired, right? And say, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll do my part too. That's kind of
That's
how
hey, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. I mean, you have to wonder, does he have like, so if he's related to Isaiah Bradley, right? When he came back, I mean, his wife passed away, obviously. I mean, did he have another relationship? Like, what part of the family does Eli hail from? Does he have any super soldier stuff in him or whatever?
yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. So no, that's a very interesting part. So all right. Now we're at now Sam goes home to New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Visits his family. He decides to fix the boat.
Well, all
Um,
those favors.
calls in his favors. I'm still wondering like why this guy couldn't like you really couldn't find anyone like the Wakandans. like,
Hey, you don't call like
come on. Like
you don't call
I'm being a little pushy.
Yeah, I think you are.
I'm
Like,
being a
just
little
think,
pushy.
think about this now. Like, yes, you're one of the Avengers, but you don't just call in the nation of Wakanda to come fix your boat because you're one of the Avengers. Come on.
Why not? You help save the world, right?
Come on,
Help
man.
save the universe.
No.
Yeah.
What was funny about this? So, what was funny about this was when Bucky came back and started flirting with his sister.
Yes.
I was dying.
I'm gonna talk a little bit about that too. I think somebody posted. Was it you that posted this, or somebody posted this about him waking up and like saying, "I'm gonna be your dad" or something like that. We thought that was hilarious.
I'm gonna be your daddy soon. We got comments down here. Jose saying the same thing. He's like he was dying on that.
Yeah, oh my god. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was. All right, so went back to Louisiana, right? Got home, helped fixing the boat and whatnot, calling his favors, got the boat fixed. Bucky shows up, drops off the little new toy that he got from the Wakandans, and helps him starts fixing the boat, which I think is like a really cool bonding moment between the two. Like
for sure.
it's actually a great way like the series has shown them like start from one end and like come together. And we're gonna talk about like the final part where they're like tossing like the shield or the frisbee around the shield around. Hey, Ultron called it the frisbee. He goes, the most malleable planet on the earth, and they make a frisbee out of it. That's what they called it. So,
Next.
But one of the things that I thought was pretty interesting, though, is that when Sarah decides not to share the boat, to sail the boat, they talk about as like it being part of our history and how they try to erase our history. This is something Isaiah Bradley talked about early in the episode, right? So,
Absolutely.
And this is kind of something where African Americans' histories are just warped now, right, in this country.
Yeah.
So I didn't hear about the Tulsa massacre when I was in school, like at all, right?
Nope.
Didn't know the truth about the Confederates while I was in school at all, right? We're taught like an alternate history, and
or like I was saying earlier, like the history of Central Park in New York.
Yes, absolutely. Right? That's a perfect one there. So, it's interesting to see them how to kind of tie that in there. And that's just a great scene. So, all right, fast forwarding a little bit. So Bucky spends the night at Sam's place, right? And we know the funny part of like them playing with the shield and whatnot, and like how he kind of wakes up a little bit happy. No nightmares. It doesn't seem like it.
Yeah.
But one thing that's been pointed out. So he actually, in the beginning of the series, right, when he fell asleep, he was sleeping on the floor, right? And if you remember a callback to
Now
Captain
he's sleeping on the
America,
couch. Yeah.
yeah, Civil War, talking about like I sleep on the floor. That was Bucky sleeping on the floor, but now he's sleeping on the couch. He's more comfortable. He's more at ease, at peace, at ease, at peace, at ease and at peace. He talks about how nice everyone else is here in the
Yeah.
neighborhood and whatnot. He does talk about his sister, about man, she's mean. And like it's called tough love. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Um, and it's I mean, it's just it's a great scene. I think it's just a really good scene to kind of see him interact with that group of people, kind of
Yeah.
use
For
his gifts
sure.
for good. So that's where they have the talk about like what it means to have the shield, right? And
Hmm.
as we said earlier, right, he didn't know what it meant to give a black man the shield, so I didn't know
Yeah.
about pretty much all the pressures that put you through that and whatnot. Um, and I think so. Sam and had a conversation with like Sarah earlier about Isaiah Bradley and his like resentment and not letting that consume him or decide him. It's like, what would I be if I don't fight, right? If I just kind of just gave,
Right.
right? So that's kind of just gives him the courage to like to take up that shield and say, yeah, this I do deserve this, and I'm still fighting, right,
Yeah.
for equality.
I love the way he concluded that he needed to be the hero.
Yes.
Love the way that happened.
Yeah.
And that the other thing I like too was like when they were throwing around the shield. I like how they show the transition from the fact that he was a rookie using the shield to becoming like better with it, because
Yeah.
when he was tossing it around, he would kind of fumble it a little bit
Yeah.
and have trouble catching it. And you see Bucky, when he has super strength, so he was just like boom,
Yeah.
boom. And then as he was training with it and got good with it, then he was catching it more naturally. So I thought that was really good, like that attention to
Yeah, no,
detail.
he had his little workout montage, like you see in the Rocky, like you see in the Rocky movies and the Creed movies, right? Little workout montage, back in it,
Yeah, he
right?
did. He did.
Um, you even saw him jogging, saying all day, right? When I was talking to his kids,
Yep. Yep.
his nephews. One thing that really stuck, like that really inspired me, was when he gave Bucky the advice, right? When he
Yeah.
goes, "Are you ready for some tough love?" And he goes, like, if you want like forgiveness or something, do the work, right? Like you have to. It's beyond just saying I'm sorry, right?
Yeah.
And when he said that, I was it made me think about like people who want to be allies for African Americans. I know this is a little bit of a different context, but people who wanted to be allies for African Americans is more than just saying you're sorry or saying that you're aware or whatever, but actually being of service to people, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that's kind of how I took it in my mind, and it kind of reminded me of like some of my like when the George Floyd situation happened and like racist CEO of CrossFit was a thing. Um,
Yeah.
some of my friends who were more than just, oh, are you okay? Or like you're right, or someone who's actually opened themselves up and empathizing was of service and kind of heard me out and reached out and was my friend, right? Not just
Yeah.
a very simple, you okay? Are we good? We're friends, right? It's but something being of service, and that's kind of what I felt with that. So that was just a great scene there. So yeah, afterwards he has this like little workout montage, hitting them push-ups, practicing, flipping the frisbee around.
Yeah.
It looks, and he in about like a day he masters it because that's how that takes. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
I'm
I
sure.
think it was a little bit more than
I'm
that.
sure it took longer than that, but like it was good to see him get comfortable with the shield, right? Going from it looks like someone else's to like yeah, I'm the captain
This is
now.
my shield now. Yeah, yeah. This is
I'm
my
the
shield now.
captain now, right?
I'm the captain now. Yeah. But
So
so after that, right? Because for like I love the episode, but then part of me was kind of feeling as I was watching it, kind of feeling that they stayed in Louisiana a little too long. Um,
I'm from
but
Louisiana, so
when they broke away from that, and you get back to what Carly and them are planning,
mhm.
then it was like, dude, I hope this training pays off because they are getting ready for you. Like you
Yeah.
got that the guy who fought Steve
Ball
Rogers
chalk.
from Baltrop,
Yeah.
the guy who fought him, ready to go back and fight Falcon again,
Wants to kill him.
and yeah, and you have
Yeah.
her talking about, I'm gonna kill, whoever. So it's just like I hope they're ready
Yeah,
because
it seems like this group, the Flag Smashers, has more reach than we thought. They're not just a fringe group. Like they actually had people in that GRC building, right? That says one world, one.
they're
And
everywhere,
that's like what?
right?
Like how they were able to get back to like the United States without like no problems. It's shocking. Whatever, but yeah, it seems like they were able to just. It wouldn't surprise me if they had help, possibly from Sharon Carter, right?
Definitely from
So
Sharon
I
Carter.
thought that. So they refer to the power broker as a he in the show. It wouldn't surprise me if it's Sharon Carter is the power broker. I mean, she does have eyes everywhere. She has like a satellite somehow.
I think she
Um,
just made the identity into a man, so nobody would suspect it was her.
it's possible.
Yes.
It's possible. Um, though I can't just keep in mind that the power broker also threatened Carly like
Yeah.
earlier in the series, right? So I can't
Yeah.
imagine Sharon doing that. But um, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting thing. I'm curious to see how she plays in all this. According to some promos, that she's actually going to be back in. She's going to be there along with John Walker. So where all the like the finale is taking place, it looks like she's going to be there. Marvel's trying to throw us off. Uh,
John Walker versus Bucky round 2.
yeah,
Can't wait for that.
yeah.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, I wonder if John Walker's gonna try to rip off like Sam's wings again, and he can't because it's vibranium. like
Yeah.
yeah, so like Bucky opens the box. I know we're kind of skipping around at the end here. Bucky opens the box. What do you think what do you think the design's gonna be? I think it's gonna be like a red, white, and blue Captain America
Oh, yeah,
ish
for sure.
type
For sure.
thing.
I've
I
seen the
wish
cover. I've seen the comic where he took on the mantle. So I think I'm sure it's going to be a play on that costume.
yeah. I wish they did like the nanotech thing like they did with like Black Panther's suit as well as Iron Man suit as well with the like the nano machines like growing wings or something like that.
So
I
here's the
don't
thing.
I
I
doubt it'll
don't think.
happen.
Yeah,
I
I don't think so.
doubt
Because
it'll
that's
happen, but I
no.
wish it would.
You can't have a suit that rivals the King of Wakanda, right? So you might get something that's akin to the Black Panther suit 1.0 that you saw in the
Yeah.
beginning of the movie. They're not going to give you the good stuff. I wouldn't. You'd be a fool to do that. I wouldn't. You're not getting the good stuff.
I
You're not getting
mean,
the good stuff. You're not
maybe,
getting the good stuff.
right?
But
No,
you know what though? I guarantee you that they have some sort of failsafe built into that bad boy, though, just
probably.
like they did with Bucky's arm.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Like because Bucky said, like, did you know they can do that when he like disconnected his arm? They're like, he's like, no. So
Yeah,
one of them probably did the same thing, right? So
I would. She would probably right in his wings. Boop, 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 boop. Fall off.
yeah, no. Yeah, Bucky seems like he handles himself well when he's fighting those super soldiers with his wings. So him having a vibranium shield, and vibranium, just vibranium everything, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's going to be pretty dope. So I'm actually pretty excited to see that. Um, I wonder if like Joaquin Torres is gonna join the fight as well. Um, what do you think about U.S. Agent? So John Walker, he built his own little shield. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's like it's not vibranium. Like, is it bulletproof? Or like, I don't.
It's still. I mean, it's still it's still a. It's not vibranium, but if it's solid steel, I mean, it's not like it's not going to protect you. Let's be real. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Let's be real. And I like how he built it using his medals of honor, right?
Yes.
All three of them in there.
Yep.
So
He used
somebody's
that
giving
to
him.
merge the metals together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I could totally see him coming back as like, I'm Captain America and just this and this or whatever. I totally see Bucky coming in and saving the day, like superhero landing, Captain America. Let's go save these guys that took the shield away from me. I thought it was interesting though. They pointed out that the shield doesn't necessarily belong to the U.S. government, right? So that was
They did point that out. She was like, it's a legal gray area.
a little legal gray area. That's
I
not
did like that.
actually belong to the U.S. government, which is interesting. And his wings actually not going to belong to the U.S. government either, because he got them from Wakanda. So those are his.
True. True.
So that is actually going to be really interesting. I am happy to see. I'm it's great that they made Falcon cool because Falcon was never a cool character to me.
No, he wasn't. He
No,
could
he
talk
really
to
wasn't.
birds. Like, get out of here.
Like if he were to fight, I expect him to win if he were to fight Ant-Man again. I would expect him to win that fight.
Yeah.
But I'm happy they made him cool. So I'm really happy for like the backstory that they got there. I'm expecting amazing fight scene.
I mean, they have a lot of stuff to wrap up in this next episode.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it may be. I mean, it might be movie length. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely got to be at least an hour, right?
Well, I think all of them have been about an hour, right? Like about.
The first few were not. The first few were kind of short.
Yeah, they're like 45 minutes.
Okay.
But like the last couple were closer to an hour. This one, I think you're gonna be right. It's gonna be about an hour. It has to be an hour long. I don't know if you caught the Shang-Chi trailer. Are you there? I think you froze. I think Nicholas froze, or did I freeze?
Fix your tech.
Huh?
No, you froze.
No, you froze. We'll see. I probably froze. It shows my internet is unstable, so I probably froze. So Shang-Chi, right? The Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi?
Shang-Chi, yeah. I say Shang-Chi.
Yeah, buddy. I can't wait for that.
So here's the interesting thing. So I saw a trailer breakdown, and they think part of that trailer. Damn it! So Sarah said that.
That's right.
Thank you, Sarah.
I tried to make sure we didn't have dead air out here. That's right.
You just take my side. Oh man, that's embarrassing.
Hey, you can't even talk.
I can't. Dang it. No.
Anyway, Shang-Chi trailer was great.
It was great. So, but the reason why I mentioned that is because we think so. Shang-Chi part of it takes place in Mandrapore. People think, right? So I saw a trailer breakdown. They think it takes place in Mandrapore, like that tournament fighting scene where he was like fighting his sister a little bit. Takes place in Mandrapore, and they think that that's the reason why they released a trailer later, right? But to coincide with Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It's also possible that Mandalorian could be the power broker. Not
the Mandalorian?
Yes. Could be the power broker. I don't know.
Yeah.
Total speculation.
That's not a bad theory there. I mean, if it's in Madripoor, that's a very interesting theory.
Yeah, they think it's gonna be in Madripoor. So again, that trailer was awesome. I liked the
action looks like it's gonna be crazy. I hear that there's someone or somebody there who had something to do with the raid in this movie. So that means You haven't seen that movie? Have you seen that movie, The Raid?
No, I actually have not.
That is one of the best action movies ever made. Like, you need to go watch that. Yes.
Okay.
That is, there's two of them.
Okay.
And that movie is legit.
I think,
Yes.
I also think, what, so they made, it was a very, Kung Fu expired type movie, right? With his upbringing and whatnot. So I think it's gonna be a good movie. I can't wait to kind of see how that turns out.
Yep.
But yeah, that could possibly be the link, the Madripoor, right? With Falcon and Winter Soldier and
I
saying,
like that, man. And you have Sharon Carter in there too.
yeah, it'll be
Make a
nice.
little guest appearance in there.
I also
That'd be dope.
so I also heard, I don't know if Sharon Carter is going to be there, if she's going to be back in the United States during like the final episodes and whatnot. I do want to ask you, what do you think about Sharon Carter's, like, what is her goal, right? Maybe she doesn't want the GMC to, because she talked about how she couldn't see her family, right? So
Yeah.
maybe she kind of wants the GMC to like go down, because it talks about like these borders, right? And they want a world without borders. So maybe she could possibly just go and see her family and whatnot again. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean, it seems like if she doesn't really care about like the stars and stripes and being loyal to her country anymore, that kind of goes along with what the Flag Smashers are all about, right? So if she isn't the power broker, I mean, she may just be somebody who runs that group. I don't know. It's tough to say, because it's like you saw her in Winter Soldier and Civil War, and then that was it, and you didn't really get an idea of what happened to her. Like, she helped them out a little bit, and then nothing, right?
And I always really liked her character. So so I'm happy. I wish they explored it a little bit more. I would love to, like, I mean, I don't think she's gonna have her own series, but I definitely wouldn't mind an Agent 13 series or whatnot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're giving not Scarlet Witch, they're giving Black Widow a movie. So maybe
when is that thing coming out?
I think it got delayed. I think it's coming out in like May or September. Let me actually take a look at that.
I'm waiting for that joint, man. I'm trying to see what they're gonna do.
So what they're gonna do is it's gonna have a dual release. It's gonna be in theaters. It's gonna be like the Disney special. Thing. I don't know where we are gonna be in terms of like the vaccine rollout. So, but I think people are more comfortable going with theaters now. So that's also good. Let's see when this movie is coming out.
I don't think I'm ready to go to the movies, but I'm in between on that one because I want to see it. I don't know if I'm gonna shell out like the 40 to see it with the special access. It's like, even if I buy 2 movie tickets, that's not 40 bones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you vaxxed up, I'm vaxxed up, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, that is true. That is true.
So July 9th is the release date for that. I mean, it also looks like a good movie too. So
yeah, it does.
Yeah. So after this, a few hours, final episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier. Pretty sure they're gonna announce new spin-offs based off of this one, actually. So
I mean, you already seen a trailer for
Loki.
Well, it's a couple trailers. There's a trailer for The Bad Batch, right? That's a Star Wars spinoff.
Yeah.
And then there's another one. It's either a trailer or at the very least I saw an ad for
Boba Fett?
Not Boba Fett. What's the name of the guy that was in that one Star Wars movie that you said you liked?
Rogue One.
Rogue One. They're doing a spin-off show for that.
Yeah.
And I seen the promo for that. So definitely plenty of stuff to talk about. I'm hoping we can fit in this fight scene discussion before we start covering another show.
Yes, no, we should probably get on that. Yeah, Loki's out. It's gonna come out next. I'm pretty sure they're gonna announce more, like in terms of like the MCU. I'm sure they're gonna announce more shows.
Yeah.
The series coming out after this, so I could totally see like a Thunderbolts with well, I mean, we already know that Hawkeye's daughter is getting a show, right? We know
Yeah.
Kamala Khan's getting a show, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see what they have next. So I'm excited.
And now they have Peter Parker as a high school age. I'm wondering if, because she's supposed to be pretty young too, so I'm wondering if she's going to be like the female counterpart to that. I hope not. I hope they do her a little bit more than that.
Yeah,
give her a little bit more than that.
I'm curious to see what they're going to do with her powers, like how she gets her powers.
That's going to cost a lot of money to put that in CGI. I tell you that.
Have you seen the CGI? Have you seen the CGI they've used so far? They have money. I mean, Disney has money.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is Disney. You know what I mean? But I mean, this is. I mean, for what you see, like
she's like Mr. Fantastic,
experts or whatever. Yeah, she's like Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Whatever, so it's a little different than, hey, I have to animate like this one scene. This is just like every time she does something, it's gonna have to be animated somehow. So
yeah. That's going to be interesting. Cool. All right. Well, I think I am done. All
right.
Anything else?
No, man. Another good episode.
Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed. We actually had, I think tonight we've had more viewers than we've ever had live. I was watching the numbers. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate y'all giving us our time. Please like and subscribe to the page and YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. Follow us, keep up with what's going on.
Yes.
And we're always publishing new stuff. So we appreciate it.
Yes, thank you guys for your support, man. Love you guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you for like listening to like just two old guys talk about comics and
Hey, we talk about some of everything. Well,
and also so things that are important to us, like social justice issues. So yeah.